Welcome to Traveler Tidings. Thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Luna. I'm joined here by our fellow team member, Drexla Goldsprocket, as we have just finished our battle here at the Tournament of Aronoka, and it has been the first sort of test of our strength as a team here. Hello, Drexla. How are you? Thank you for joining us today.
I'm doing good, Luna. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out of your busy sort of tournament schedule to come talk to us. We just finished a bout here with the Minotaur. They were giant, weren't they?
Well, to be fair, everything's a giant to me. I'm just little, so...
That's true. But even for me, they were of intimidating size, so I cannot imagine how much larger they seem to you.
Very much so.
Oh, yes, they were quite hulking. This festival has had so much to give us beyond just the delicious food and wonderful community and culture, but we've also set such a scale for the amount of festivities here. It's really interesting how large this gathering is of people. Do you find it at all intimidating with your size?
Yeah, sometimes, but if I get too scared, I just go up high, and then I'm above everybody else, and...
Right, take a little bit of a breather.
I kind of feel bigger at that point.
Oh, that's quite lovely, being above everyone, you can see too. So it makes it a little less anxiety-inducing being able to see where everything lies.
And I don't get stepped on.
Oh, that's true. That's quite helpful. I have heard a bit of a rumor, and I've seen some strange cloaked figures walking around showing none other than your picture to people asking about you. Is someone looking for you, Drexla?
They're not supposed to be looking for me here.
Oh.
Where did you see them last?
Oh, well, they were just sort of walking amongst the crowd. They were these dark-cloaked figures, and they were handing out your picture.
Okay, maybe we just stand over here in the dark, so that way they...
in the shadows of the trees?
Sure, yeah.
Sure. We can move off to the side. Is this a little better?
I'm going to stand behind you over here.
Sure, no problem. Okay. I will face my back to the festivities, and you can be in the shadows of the trees.
Okay.
All right, I hope that helps. But can you tell us a bit more about these strange figures in dark cloaks? Why are they looking for you?
That's kind of why I came here, because there are no humans here,
Mm-hmm.
and I just came here because there's lots of animal people, and I didn't expect to see them here, but we'll discuss that later. They're looking for me. They kind of need my help or something, but they're kind of being mean about it, so I'm just avoiding them for right now.
So there's a sort of client that you're not looking to help right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
I
need some friends first.
They're looking for your reluctant help in their endeavors, and that's not quite what you're doing. Well, let's hope that you can avoid them for as long as possible, so that way you're not dragged into anything untoward. I'm hoping the festival will provide a good amount of sort of distraction from those problems.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And I'm betting the crowd will help sort of hide you from them as well. Mm-hmm. With your diminutive size, it should be quite helpful, I think, right?
Yeah, everybody's been very good here.
Oh, good. Now, what I'm really interested in talking to you about here is the tournament, especially since you're so small. I feel it must be a little difficult to feel comfortable competing amongst such large creatures, especially considering the size of the Minotaur and the Elefolk. How does it come into play being so small but fighting such large creatures in a tournament?
That's kind of why I'm here. I mean, I'm looking for friends, so this was a good test. Mm-hmm. And, I can't do a lot by myself, but I could help other people do their jobs a lot better.
True, yes.
So I helped Captain V, and we beat him, so we must be doing something right.
That is true, and I saw the use of some very inventive sort of tools to help you in that regard. Can you explain a little bit more of how you use those tools to even the playing field with such large creatures?
Well, I mean, they're big, but they still can't hit what they can't see, so I have my smoke bombs, and I put those down, but I can still see them because of my goggles.
Oh, special goggles. Mm-hmm. That come in handy. I mean, you can really obscure the area and get a good view.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
That's wonderful. I really love seeing that. So that's quite interesting to be able to get a sort of an upper hand on them by eliminating them from your sight. Mm-hmm. That's quite, or rather eliminating you from their sight. That's quite lovely. And also, it's interesting to see that despite such large foes, you really are determined to take them on and to win with such ingenuity. I really appreciate that. Do you have any sort of advice for other people who are quite small, how they can sort of overcome that fear or that apprehension towards introducing larger foes?
Well, again, like I said earlier, it's all about having friends that are bigger than you and people that you can depend on to help strengthen your weaknesses, and you can help strengthen theirs also. There's everybody, no matter how small, you have things that you can contribute.
Absolutely. That's quite lovely to hear that, collaboration with other friends is really the best way to avoid conflict as much as possible. That is quite lovely. Surround yourself with good people and you'll be quite fine. That's good to hear. And, I do know that we are kind of split up, aren't we? We are on the same team, but some of our other friends are on a separate team, and there is every possibility that we might be going up against them in the tournament. Are you prepared to fight your own friends?
Yeah, it's just a game right now. I mean, we're not looking to kill each other, so we can, get a good appreciation of each other's strengths and weaknesses.
That's a good point.
See what we all have to offer.
Oh, that's quite lovely. We get to see how we fight as well and get a good gauge for ourselves. Plus, it's good practice for later, right?
Very much so.
That's quite good. That's quite good. I'm glad to see that you're approaching this with a very gung-ho attitude, very positive here. Nothing sort of, untoward or be like, let's kick their butts or anything. All in the best of terms. That's quite good. And, I want to sort of explore this delicate balance of tension, right? Because we are in a competition. We do want to win, but we also have our friends we're competing against, and they want to win as well, right? So how do we prevent the competitive nature from getting too out of hand and sort of getting more violent than fun?
At the end of the day, as long as one of us wins, that's all that matters. As long as we beat the other people. I mean, I'm just as happy as if they win as if we win.
Oh, so does that mean that you're willing to, share in the spoils of winning the tournament, whatever the reward is?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's quite lovely. It's good to hear that you're such a team player, making sure that the rest of your friends are also, winning, even though they might not win the tournament. That's quite good. I'm really glad to hear that. It's really amazing to have spoken with someone so diminutive, but who has such a large stage presence on the tournament. It's truly inspiring to see you moving across there, zipping back and forth. It's really difficult to keep track of you on the field, but it's quite lovely to see all the everything that comes about from you moving around and making your moves on the board. It's quite lovely. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you giving us a sort of insight into the tournament.
Thank you, Luna.
And thank you so much. I'll let you join our friends back there, give them a little bit of encouragement for the next round. Thank you so much. And now we're going to be passing it on to Drexla's player, Dan, talking about his sort of viewpoints on the tournament. Dan, can you hear us?
I can.
Oh, hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here on Traveler Tidings.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You are a veteran player, and you're one of the veteran players for our table, and you're starting in this long-running homebrew campaign. How does that feel, having so much prior knowledge, but really none of it being applicable to a homebrew, brand new world?
That's definitely an adjustment. I've been playing for 30 plus years, so it's been a long time. But going into this world, it provides a new excitement because you're not really sure what's around the next corner, or not really sure that the orc that you're going to be fighting is really an orc, or does he have something else going on, and whole new magic schools and classes in here, a whole new history. I mean, I'm a big Forgotten Realms player, so I know quite a bit about that. And this is a whole new realm where none of that information is relevant.
Oh, and is it a little bit intimidating, or are you looking forward to all the different changes?
I'm looking forward to it.
That's good. I love hearing that. And how have you adapted to all this new knowledge, so to speak, where you have, knowledge of certain lore, but it might not exactly fit into Extraeus's lore quite properly?
It's giving me a bit of hesitation now, because before I'd kind of like, okay, we know what we're going up against. I know what it could do. I know what to expect. Right. So kind of like leap before really understanding what was going on. I can't really do that now, because that's going to bite me in the ass.
Right.
If I jump into something expecting one thing and it's something totally different.
Oh, wow.
And having a great DM that helps walk you through all that kind of stuff is a huge benefit.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure DM Gal is appreciative.
With Drexla being a homebrew class itself, there's a lot of discussion that we have back and forth on, okay, this is what the creator of this homebrew envisioned, but it doesn't really work within this campaign. So let's switch this around. Let's make this work. And we're coming up with something that's a good balance between it. And we're both I think pretty happy with how she's turned out.
Good, yeah.
so far.
I know I've been extremely happy watching Drexla sort of grow as a person and Dan as a player as well. It's been really fun seeing you adapt to a brand new world where really none of us know quite what to expect. So that's quite fun. Do you have any sort of tips for newer players that don't have quite the experience? Anything that you think of? For example, here with splitting the party into 2 different groups for the tournament, how do you approach situations like that?
That's a little bit different. It's just trying to remember that at the end of the day, you guys are all on the same team. At the end of this tournament, you guys still have to band together,
right,
and work together in the future. So
can't upset each other too much.
Yeah, you can't do a lot of things underhanded things that you would do in a non-tournament.
With a stranger, yes.
Yeah, because it's like I gotta wake up next to this person in the morning, unless I piss them off to the point where they kill me in my sleep.
Right.
But I think overall we've come to really appreciate what each person brings to the table, appreciate their strengths, and appreciate on how we can work together. Myself and Captain V, for instance, I'm a part of his pirate crew now, and we're kind of a buddy team where we work together on stuff, and I'm pretty much his support. It's like, okay, what do you need, Captain? I can make this for you. I can do that for you. We had a battle against a dragon that was being controlled by a demon, and we had to try and kill the demon without injuring the dragon. And rather than worry about I need to do my 2d6 damage to this dragon every turn, my whole thing was, what can I do to support him? I would enchant one of his bullets. I would breach load it into his gun. He would shoot the dragon, and my whole round was supporting him in order to make him shine.
Yes, and you increase the amount of damage he does by quite a bit because of your help. So that's quite lovely. Yeah. So you might not be doing all the damage yourself, but you're helping exponentially increase somebody else's damage, and in so doing, you're doing quite a bit yourself.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure as we move along, and people like Bogbean and Bricky, they're really, really close, and they're going to be coming up with more ways to work together.
True, yeah.
And then Luna and Tobias, you guys are kind of the magic of the group, so I'm sure there's things that you guys are going to be able to do as we move forward
to help out.
And you're kind of like, and I've said it before, and it kind of upsets Luna at the time. It's like I call her Mama Luna because she's kind of the mother of the group, and then Tobias is kind of the father figure of the group. He's the priest, and there's just so many things that we haven't even uncovered yet as we advance and grow that we're going to be able to do. Right.
Well, I am fairly young, so being called a mum this quite early in my life is a little jarring, but I'm learning to take it in stride. You take what you can get, and I'm really appreciative that you view me in a sort of mentor capacity. It's quite lovely. But it's really fun to see the sort of freeness that can be had in homebrew campaigns and homebrew games, and being a player with many years of experience, how do you handle that sort of freeness in the world? Because our gracious DM has sort of said it's open world, go wherever you please. How do you handle that sort of freedom versus the structured nature of Forgotten Realms games?
This is kind of a new experience for me. I haven't really done an open world like this before. Yeah. We're still kind of reined into a certain point by the rest of the group. We have to get everybody else on board with whatever we want to do. And Captain V has his ideas of what he wants to do. I have my ideas of what I want to do, and then we have to figure out ways to coerce the rest of you guys to tag along
help you
somehow. So that's always a challenge. So we're reined in by that. But even with that, I mean, we've gone a lot of places where you guys have wanted to go.
Sure, yeah.
And we pretty much, whatever's most important to certain members of the group at one time. There's a lot of stuff that's negotiable. There's some things that aren't. It's like, this is really important. We have to do this. True. Okay. Well, let's go get that done, and then we'll focus on my thing later. One bad thing about that, though, and with Egal as our DM, the longer you put off a problem, the bigger that problem becomes.
Right.
So that's always in the back of my mind that we do have to handle this before it gets out of control, because it's gonna bite us in the butt later.
That is true, and a great aspect of our campaigns is that time keeps moving. So if we take too long, like you said, it can grow into a bigger issue than it needed to be. So we really have to make sure we balance our decisions and where we go and what we do. But it's really interesting to see how you sort of make those connections so that that you can affect the story as well. Maybe you need to do something and we need to help you do that.
Yep.
So it's really fun to see that. You know, we've also started to see some really sneaky chats between Drexla and Captain V. You two having little sort of powwows off on your own without the rest of us doing little sneaky things that might not, you know, resonate with some of our more law-abiding members of the party. Will we be seeing more times where Drexla and V sort of run off together to do things on their own?
I think absolutely. There's no way around that. But we're kind of, again, we're balanced and reined in by, like, you guys are basically the paladins of the group, to where the rogue, if he wants to do some roguish stuff, he needs to sneak off and do that and not let you know what's going on.
Needs to be in the shadows doing it.
Exactly, because you don't want to be implicated, you don't want to know, and if you do know, you're going to bust us out, so we can't have that.
True, right? And there's certain things that also some of the, more law-abiding members of the party, like Tobias, would not appreciate and would not let you get away with, so they might interfere.
So what you don't know can't hurt you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Dan, and of course your character Drexla. It was really fun talking to both of you and getting your perspectives on not just the tournament but also the gameplay in a homebrew world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We're going to hand it back over here to Couple of Nerds. This has been your host Luna with Traveler Tidings, giving it back to DM Egile and D&D Wife.